Good morning. So I just wanted to talk about a few things. I'm not going to talk really about SoFi. Like SoFi earnings are coming up tomorrow morning, and basically everyone and their mom is talking about SoFi. So like, there's really nothing really for me to say, right? I'm bullish. I guess the only really like 2 cents I have is it just ran up from like $7. So maybe like if you have if you want to take profits, right? No one ever went broke from taking profits. Maybe take some money off the table. If you're going like balls to the wall hard, like kind of I am, or it's my number one position, maybe trim a little bit, right? I'm personally not selling any shares, but I am selling some more short dated calls, just so that I don't get screwed over by theta decay. But but yeah, so that's something really exciting for. I'm really looking forward to that, right? Management has been firing on all cylinders, and I feel like this is one of those. It shows a really big like change from management, where before they were more quiet and they were less inclined to talk publicly. But now, like, you see, I think it was last week where Anthony Noto came out. They came up with like 3 or 4 really big news articles, right? For example, the Fortress deal. For example, the AI the AI thingy that they had like a few weeks back. Just a lot of like new news articles. So like, you really do see a kind of shift in the way that management is dealing with their PR events, right? So I think that's a really big bullish thing. But then again, this video is not supposed to be on SoFi. So I wanted to talk about how a lot of people are kind of forecasting the a recession, right? People are forecasting, oh, the markets are at all-time highs. I expect to pull back, right? There's gonna be a recession coming soon, right? Market crash, housing crash, everything crash, right? And I wanted to talk about how this also actually has to do with GameStop and Keith Gill and his last meme, right? If you're into that, whatever, right? I'm holding it to sell covered calls, but also holding it just because I feel like it's currently undervalued. So if you've ever heard of Nassim Taleb, right? I think his name is Nicholas Nassim Taleb, his full name. He was actually introduced to me by Keith Gill. I watched one of his live streams, and then he recommended his book, The Black Swan, written by Taleb, right? And in the book, he basically references how markets often, like a lot of the times before a market crashes, it's because, not necessarily because of any certain reason, any certain cause, but because of how fragile the market is. And in my mind, after reading this, it kind of gave me the idea that the markets are most fragile when it's most optimized. So what does that mean? Basically, in my opinion, you stand to earn the most in a market rally right before a market crash, because that's when the market is running on full force, running on like literally all like 7 cylinders. It's running on all of those, right? But at the same time, that's when it's the most risky. So should you sit it out, right? Like, does that make sense? So what I kind of equate it to is, if you've ever played any, like maybe League of Legends, maybe you play any type of MOBA, right? Where this idea, or any type of like game, I guess, right? There's this idea of a glass cannon, right? Like a character that builds only damage and has no like health, no defense, right? They get hit once and then they automatically die. That is the idea of something of like a fragile character, right? An optimized yet fragile character. And Nassim Taleb basically talks about how when the markets are basically optimized for full performance, like 100% performance, that is when the market is the most dangerous, right? You don't like any shift in market sentiment, any shift in like market in the market, or any shift in the economy will destroy, like, will basically like crumble the entire economy. And he talks about that, which is why I think that it would, like, a lot of people that are sitting this out saying it's all-time highs, I think they have their reasoning, right? It makes sense, but at the same time, you're missing out on so many gains. Look at the past like 2 or 3 months. Look at how much the market rose, right? Look at Nvidia, look at Tesla, look at SoFi, look at bank stocks, look at like all those stocks, right? Like, the market really is just going like on like beast mode, right? And if you're sitting this out worried about a recession, then that's not that wise, right? Be right back. Bus coming. So continuing, I think that right now it's definitely like, you don't want to sit this out. Definitely not financial advice, right? But in my opinion, I'm not going to sit this out. But in the same vein, definitely make sure that you have your nest egg. Definitely make sure that you have a plan for like for getting out of the market in case something happens. Um, on a recent, I think it was CNBC interview, Taleb actually says that currently the market is in its most fragile state, but at the same vein, I feel like it's also at its most optimized um, state, right? Where it given that the economy and given that the market is running at its current, I guess, or at the current like state of the environment or the current state of the economy, the market's running at optimal performance, which is why you keep seeing these highs, right? But then if the moment there's might be a bad earnings call, right, or the moment maybe even like the election results come in, right? You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen to the market, and at that point, then you can see the like a chain reaction. If someone pulls out, if a lot of money pulls out, then that can lead to a chain reaction in other parts of the market, which can cause a market downturn. Now, kind of touching on what I said about earlier, how Taleb basically explains what Ryan Cohen, or not Ryan Cohen, what Rowan Kitty's meme says, or what it means, is basically, if you don't care about GameStop, you can click away, but it is a picture of an American flag and a mic, right? And there's music notes. So I feel that Taleb probably played a really big role, or at least somehow shaped Rowan Kitty or Keith Gill's knowledge a lot. And in the book, he mentions the phrase "it ain't over until the fat lady sings" multiple times. Now, why does this have to do with the meme? If you look at the meme, it's an American flag and there's a mic and there's music notes. The American flag is the fat lady, right? Because America is known for being obese. The mic is there's music notes, so the fat lady is singing, right? Like no one else is talking about this, but I think what that basically means is Rowan Kitty is basically he's done doing his stuff, right? He's just waiting for the company to perform, right? He's done like being public, which is why he hasn't really talked. He hasn't really done anything in the past however long, right? After Chewy, I think that's basically okay. Well, that's my last. That's the last time I'm gonna really like do anything public. So just wait for GameStop to perform. So that's why I think that right now you're just looking at management to basically, for them, it's like whether or not the stock performs, whether or not the company performs is in their hands. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. I'm super excited for SoFi. Still really surprised about Tesla. Like it's so sketch. Like yeah, I'll be okay. Congrats, right? Like I didn't short or anything, but congrats for all the Tesla holders. I don't like as I said before, right? The Tesla as a company, I think it's fine, right? It's the management that rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know what's up with management, and also just the number of people that have quit, that have left Tesla, is absolutely ridiculous. So I don't see why people would leave if they see a really bright future for Tesla. It just doesn't make sense, and the fact that they could increase margins so much. I think there's some type of accounting trick. I don't know. I don't want to not financial advice. I'm not saying they did, but like this is pure speculation. But like it doesn't. I don't see it. Like you see that the cars are getting cheaper and cheaper every news article is talking about how the cars are getting cheaper and cheaper, and like I've been seeing news article after news article of like the autopilot or of their assisted FSD crashing into stuff, killing people. It just I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Maybe if you can point me to a news article that I would really appreciate that. But otherwise, I don't know. I just think it's really sketch, and I think it's I don't know. Up to you, right? I'm holding GameStop, so like, who am I to say anything? But yeah, those are my thoughts on I guess the state of the market, how it's really fragile, but at the same vein, because it's fragile, it's also optimized, right, for this current state. But the moment something breaks, you have to be prepared for that. So, I'd say, in my opinion, I think what I'm going to do is continue investing, but then definitely make sure to have either what Taleb says is that you should just have a safe nest egg that's basically increasing at a safe rate. For example, maybe you're buying bonds, maybe you're buying some notes, right? But at the same time, maybe have some really really small gamble or wager or like protection, I guess, in case of a market downturn. That's what he tells, and that's what he says in the book. I don't know if I'll do that specifically, but I think that, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, peace.